Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Very happy to be here with you where sports meets life. I am picture in picture with yet another reason why I say what I say, and I've said what I've said for so many years, which is recruit New York and support CNY. They're the hashtags that I started back at the beginning of the pandemic, but well before I put the hashtags out there, we've been talking about it on the show and featuring Central and Upstate New York student athletes, as well as the state of New York in general. We do a lot of work with the Baldwinsville Bees, and picture in picture with me here today is a Baldwinsville Bee alum who went on to play at Maryland with the Terrapins and represent the United States of America. That is Jason Savacool, who is now a St. Louis Cardinal drafted in the 2023 Major League Baseball draft. Yet again, proving that the state of New York and Central and Upstate New York has a few people that you should probably check out. Jason, how are we doing today?
Doing well, doing well. It's been a whirlwind 48 hours or so, and it's been great.
Yeah, and like you said, it's been a whirlwind for you. But did you see this? I mean, could you, after going through these last few years and the work that you put in and everything that you've done, did you feel like this? I know it's a dream, but did this dream start to really feel tangible to you over the last couple of years, or when did it start to feel tangible?
Yeah, I'd say it really started to feel tangible around right when I was getting into my senior year of high school, kind of like that junior summer going into my senior year. That's when I started to talk to a lot of major league scouts and things started to happen surrounding the draft coming up in high school. And then eventually I turned down an offer in high school to get drafted and went on to college and led me all to this moment. So
And you said you turn it down to go to college. Go back to that moment. Proud of that moment? What are your thoughts reflecting on that, to turn down an opportunity and instead go to college?
yeah, I mean, it was an incredibly important decision in my life. I think at the time, I might have thought I was mature enough to take on professional baseball, but just as a human being, probably not ready to really live fully on my own and be off on my own playing professional baseball, especially physically as well. I was kind of an underweight kid. I was probably 185 pounds at the time. Now more towards 220. So, a lot of weight that I've gained, a lot of maturity that I've gained going through college. So it was a huge, huge decision for me to go to college and continue to improve myself. And it was a great one. So look fondly back on that decision.
When you have that opportunity out of high school from Baldwinsville with the Bees to go play in the majors, why do you feel like out of high school Major League Baseball had already seen you? What do you think you were doing that was catching the eye of the professional league that we have here in America?
Yeah, I mean, I had thrown really well at a lot of huge events, all the USA baseball circuit, area code, East Coast Pro, different things like that I had thrown really well in front of major league scouts. That kind of got my name a little bit of notoriety, a little bit of buzz among them. But yeah, I just kind of worked really, really hard on my body. I think that's the biggest thing that even high school athletes kind of miss out on, is working on their body, continuing to get stronger and bigger. If you're able to set yourself apart physically a little bit, it's a lot easier to kind of get those looks, whether that's college or professional. So I think that was a huge piece for me.
And so you get that opportunity. Obviously, it's hard to pass up because you're banking on your future, right? You're banking on, I got this chance, which so many people would love to have, to go play professional baseball. I'm a teenager. I'm going to wait. I'm going to go to college, and then I'm going to come out of college and I'm going to try this again. Was there any part of you that thought, I could look back on this and regret this moment and maybe not get a chance to get selected for Major League Baseball?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's obviously people who go through it. Some people that were even on my Maryland team when I got in freshman year were guys that turned down offers in high school and ended up never signing. So it's a big bet on yourself kind of moment, but I just had a lot of confidence and belief in myself that I could get it done and eventually did. So
And so for you to get an education, was that something that was very important to you right off the bat? Was it more like family saying, "Hey, Jason, we love you, but we need you to get this"? Like, how much of it was your support system saying, "Yes, Major League Baseball is great, but please, go get your degree for your future"? And how much of it was you saying it?
Yeah, I'd say the people around me had a huge impact on that. Um, I don't think I realized the weight of getting that education, getting 3 years of school out of the way and being, nearly done with my degree really had on the rest of my life. To just have a backup plan if professional sports doesn't continue to work out. So I think it was definitely the support staff around me, especially my parents. My parents both work in the school systems, so they had a huge impact on me wanting to go get an education.
Do you have a thought of finishing up this education because you're 3/4 through? Do you have a thought of finishing at some point?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm signed up for 12 credits in the fall. So ready to just continue to keep knocking it out, one step at a time. So definitely.
Here with Jason Savacool on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, celebrating the Central New York Spotlight as the Major League Baseball Draft in 2023 happened and your name gets called. Where were you? What were you doing when it all happened?
I was at home, actually sitting right here where I am right now, with a bunch of people around me, probably 40, 50 people just a lot of people who have really impacted, my life and shown a lot of support to me over the years. Um, I said this a couple of times in the media, but just want to reiterate it again. Pretty much every time I pitched at Maryland for 3 years, I would get 10 to 20 texts after every game, whether it was a good one or a bad one, saying, "Oh, great job," or you get the next one, anything like that. Just always had a huge support system in this community, in the Baldwinsville community, around me, and people just always reaching out and making sure I'm doing well. So I wanted to kind of have those people around me and was able to have a nice moment with everybody.
So who was in the house?
Let's see, it was my parents, my some of my other family, my brother, sister, aunt, um, and then some people from around my neighborhood that my family and I are pretty close to. Some of my friends as well, just some close friends and some people that I play baseball with, stuff like that, and some of the families as well, of those friends and people that I played baseball with over the years that have impacted me, and some of the coaches that I've had over the years too, whether that's through Little League, Baldwinsville Swarm, or in high school as well. So just a huge culmination of a bunch of different people.
What coaches do you want to thank when you look back through that time? Like you said, whether it's Little League or the Swarm or the Baldwinsville Bees at the high school, as well as Maryland, who do you want to thank in the road to be where you are right now?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, some of the people were here and some of the people weren't. But Coach Penafeather, Coach Pilata, for Baldwinsville High School. Coach Penafeather has had a huge impact on me. The head coach, Coach Pilata as well as the pitching coach has had a huge impact on me in my career, and I still go to him for advice anytime I need something. My dad as well, who coached me all the way up, whether it was Little League or on Baldwinsville Swarm or even the high school level. He was always around to coach and give me a lending hand. And then as well as that, Coach Robinson, Coach Ray, people that coached with Baldwinsville Swarm as I came up, and also with All Stars and Little League and things like that. So there's a lot of more people that are probably slipping my mind right now, but there's been a lot of really good people in this community that have impacted me. So.
Did you, speaking of the community at Baldwinsville, have you gone out to Pizza Man and gotten yourself something since you came home?
Yeah, no, I have, yeah. Love that place. So
So I'm going to tell you what I get. I want to know your meal. So I get sweet heat, the sweet heat pizza with the pepperoni meatball and the hot honey, the Mike's hot honey, and then I get extra crispy lemon pepper wings because nobody does it like Pizza Man. Those are my two go-tos, to the point where when I go in and they're crazy busy and it's like a football Sunday, I'll walk in, there'll be like three people deep, and the bartender will jump up and go, "Dan, water, sweet heat, wings, right? Extra crispy, lemon pepper." And I'm like, "What is this? This is like going into Cheers. This is great." So what's your go-to when you go to Pizza Man?
I'm a really, really simple guy. I keep it with a cheese pizza. I'm very, very simple. Very
Okay.
easy. Yeah.
Just a cheese pizza. That's it.
Just a cheese pizza. We'll get some wings for the rest of the family, but I'm just a cheese pizza guy. I love my pizza. So
Do you dunk like the crust in anything? Do you have ranch? Do you do any of
yeah,
that?
I'm a ranch dunker. That's
Okay.
that's my
Okay.
style. Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. So you're back in the community, you're here in central New York. To hear your name called while you're sitting in the place where you grew up, while you're sitting right now talking to me in the exact spot that you were in when you found out the news. How surreal was that for you? Did you picture little Jason, little kid, barely can get his feet off the couch, sitting there going, someday I want to be a baseball player in the majors, to being sitting on the couch right now, reflecting on the fact that you've been drafted? Did you have that moment where you kind of went back?
Yeah, I mean, I always dreamed of it as a little kid. Never really knew it was quite possible until I was probably around 14, 15. When I really started to kind of separate myself from my peers and think that, maybe this could be something that I could do. Um, so yeah, I had a little moment, right before I got up to hug my family, just kind of thinking back on all the years of everything that I've done to get to this point. All the hours that I've put in at the field, in the weight room, things like that, just all leading up to this moment. So it was pretty cool. It was a pretty surreal moment.
I got to read off some of this stuff from Maryland just because, and correct me if I forget anything here. 2022 first team All Big Ten, 2022 NCBWA third team All American, 2022 ABCA Rawlings NCAA Division One All Region East team, 2022 D1 Baseball second team All American, 2022 Baseball America second team All American, 2021 Big Ten All Freshman team, three-time Big Ten Freshman of the Week, which happened in 2021 on March 10th, March 24th, and on May 11th. 2021 Baseball America Big Ten preseason newcomer of the year. And this season, you had some big time games, struck out 9 hitters in 7 innings, giving up 1 earned run over 102 pitches against Ole Miss. Also threw 7 shutout innings when you went up against Albany. Struck out a season high 10 batters in 6 innings against UCF. So there's a lot of great moments that we're seeing here. And I believe, looking at your record here, we had 20 plus wins on the record as well.
Yeah.
24. Yep. So is there anything else that I can add to? That's just Maryland. That's not even talking about Baldwinsville or anything else you've done. When you reflect on everything I just said, what does your time at Maryland with the Terps in the Big Ten mean to you after these 3 seasons?
Yeah, I mean, more than anything, it was the winning culture that we had, over the personal accolades or any of the success that I really had. I mean, one of the things that drew me to Maryland was the opportunity, with the coaching staff that was there, that was really passionate, young, fiery guys who really just wanted to compete and build this program to a new height. That's what really drew me to Maryland, is trying to go there and build up a program that I believed could be one of the best programs in the country, could be that upper echelon of baseball programs that people talk about, and just to leave a legacy there. Not only myself but our teams, just winning more than any other team had in Maryland history, multiple times. That's what was really awesome for me, was to be able to kind of leave a legacy there of the 3 years that I was there, having 3 of arguably the best seasons of Maryland's history. So I mean, just looking back on my time there, it was an incredible decision. I'm really, really glad that I chose to kind of go over, some of the SEC schools, ACC schools that were recruiting me, and instead, go there and kind of build something up from the ground up a little bit, and really just be able to look on it fondly and see what I kind of left behind. That's always been a big thing for me, whether that was at Baldwinsville or at Maryland, is kind of leaving a legacy there, and looking back on those 3 years, I believe that I've left a pretty good legacy, and our teams, for sure, have left a really good legacy.
Why did you feel like you were so highly recruited? What was it about your game that you feel like people saw at Baldwinsville?
I think it was a combination of the velocity that I had at a younger age, combined with a really good feel for pitching. I just played a lot of baseball as a kid and all the way through. Um, pretty much every weekend of my summer was spent playing tournaments. Played on 2 or 3 travel teams at a time, pretty much, and was just always around playing baseball, so I just had a really good feel for it, which allowed me to be a little bit more advanced than some of the kids my age. On top of that, I also played up an awful lot. I played at my level probably a quarter of the games I played, my age level, up until I was, 16 or older. Um, so I was always playing up, if I was 14, I was playing 16U. If I was 15, I was playing 18U. Even if I was 10, I was playing 12U. Just things like that I was always playing at a higher level where I couldn't just get away with natural ability. I also had to be smart and analytical about baseball. And I think that's what really drew a lot of teams and colleges to me is the way I kind of pitched and navigated a game, along with the physical tools as well.
And when you look at all the time that you put into the game, you got to represent America on the USA baseball collegiate national team. And I'm looking at a post here in the studio that was really cool that Maryland put up. They said from red, white, black, and gold to red, white, and blue. Just what that meant to you to represent America on the USA baseball collegiate national team, and just to bring us back into that moment.
Yeah, I mean, luckily I was able to represent our country twice, which is really a great honor. In high school, I was able to go to Korea and play in the 18U World Cup, and brought home a silver medal from that. And then in college, was able to get selected at the national team training camp and worked out there. So it's a huge honor to play with USA across your chest. Some of those games and those moments, the people I met through all of those things as well is really, really special to me. There's nothing like wearing USA across your chest and going out there and competing against other countries. You just feel a different type of energy and kind of just realism to the game. It just matters, so much more. And you feel that for sure, that excitement to play for your country. So can't even begin to describe how that felt, but it was an unbelievable experience, both times.
Well, and like you said in high school, that before everything I just spoke about with Maryland, that you had the opportunity to go to Korea and to do that as a high school player. What was the experience like in Korea for you? I mean, you come home with a silver medal, which is incredible, and congratulations.
Thank you.
You're welcome. But to be in another country is something else. And to be in South Korea with North Korea not too far away and totally different, right? I mean, it's definitely it could be a culture shock and totally unique experience for you. So how did you take it all in? Like, paint us a picture of not just playing baseball in South Korea, but going to South Korea.
Yeah, I mean, it was incredible. We were able to go to Taiwan first to play exhibition games against them, and then on to South Korea for a few weeks to play in that World Cup. It was awesome. We were in the city of Busan. It's on the southern tip of South Korea, and it was definitely a whole different culture when you're walking around. The city itself. You kind of walk through, especially at night, there's a lot going on, a lot of street performances and stuff like that, just like it would be in a city here. But then you go down the side streets and there's a bunch of fish markets and seafood markets. They're cutting live eels up, and frying them up, in the side fish market. There's a bunch of random foods that you've never even heard of or seen before. It's really, really cool. I just enjoyed the whole experience because it was something new that I had never done before. I'd never really been out of the country other than Canada, which isn't that much different, especially as if you don't go too far. So it was definitely awesome to experience a new culture, kind of hear a new language around you as well. and kind of, start to do some of the things that, some of the locals do, and some of the cool spots around the city that are just a little bit different than what it is over here. So it was a really awesome experience.
Eel compared to cheese pizza.
I'll take my cheese pizza.
Fair enough. Before I let you go here with Jason Savacool of the Baldwinsville Bee history, as well as Maryland Terp history, USA baseball history, heading to the St. Louis Cardinals in the majors, pick number 185 in the 6th round of the 2023 MLB Draft. And we talk about those high school days. Few things that happen here as we go back and look at it. The record that the Bees had in 2018 with you there, 16-6, 20-4 in 2019, amassed a 17-3 career record on the mound at C.W. Baker High School with 11 complete games, 4 shutouts, 2 saves, and 1 no-hitter. Tossed a career 156 innings with an ERA of 1.34 at Baldwinsville for the Bees. Career strikeout to walk ratio, 245-48. 2019-20 New York State Gatorade Baseball Player of the Year for the entire state. First team perfect game All-American honors in 2018 and 19. First team preseason All-American honors via Under Armour, Baseball America, and perfect game in 2018-2019. Invited to Major League Baseball and USA Baseball's Prospect Development Pipeline League. We're talking about these things here, where you led the league in strikeouts and Ks, where you had 9. Selected for the American All-Star Game and invited to the USA team trials, which we spoke about. 20-man roster for Team USA, 18U national team, which you just spoke on. 2 perfect game national championships with Kane's National U17 program. Participated in the 2019 All-American All-Star Game. Pitched at the MLB Showcases East Coast Pro and the Area Code Games, where you were named to the first team and all Area Code team. 2nd ranked pitching prospect and overall player in the state of New York that came from Perfect Games rankings, and ranked the number 19 right-handed pitching prospect in the nation per Perfect Game. Adding that all to what you did with USA and the silver medal, adding that to your experience with Maryland and everything I already spoke about, and adding that to representing the United States again. It's how old are you?
21.
21 years old. And I think there's more than 21 things I spoke about here today. To be 21 years old and have all of this under your belt already. Have we seen the tip of the iceberg for Jason Savacool? Is there so much more underneath the water that we still haven't seen?
Yeah, for sure. I definitely think so. I think now starting my professional career, this is where it kind of gets real. And we move into the hardest part is trying to make it to the majors and stay in the majors, which is incredibly difficult. A lot of the guys that I'll be peers with now have, similar lists of accolades as I do. And all that kind of goes out the water, and it's a fresh, clean slate. So really, really excited to get to work and continue to just, push forward and accomplish more things.
What do you think about being a St. Louis Cardinal?
I think it's awesome. I mean, the Cardinals are a historic organization. They have an incredible fan base. I was actually in St. Louis a couple years ago. I was at a pitching lab, and my dad and I decided to go to a game. They were about 10 games under 500, out of the playoff hunt. And we showed up to the game thinking, oh, there's going to be not that many people here. And it was actually nearly sold out. That's the fan base that's there. They support their team no matter what. They're always there. You look at some of the guys that have come back to St. Louis after being on other teams, Harrison Bader the other day with the Yankees going back to St. Louis and getting standing ovation. It's always like that with Cardinals fans. So it's a really historic organization with a great fan base, and I'm really, really excited to get to work with them.
And I can tell you that, this world is a very small place, and with a few things that we just spoke about. Lemoyne just hired their first head coach of Asian descent. And where is she from? South Korea. And where did you play? South Korea. And when I was covering Syracuse in the NCAA tournament a few years back, where did they start their run for men's basketball? St. Louis, Missouri. So I was down in St. Louis. I saw the Cardinal Stadium, which is literally built right into the city,
Yep.
right there. It's like like you're driving sidewalk and it like in the stadium and it just dips and just goes right in. So, I mean, you're literally in the heart of St. Louis. The stadium's here. You walk down and go to your left. The arch is right there that people know so well. What do you like about that atmosphere? Because St. Louis has been a really special city. And, you know, I still feel bad that the Rams aren't there anymore, but they brought the Battle Hawks in, which I thought was great for the XFL. And just the way that the stadium is in St. Louis, it's so special and so unique and so cool. And like I said, I'm just driving and you just see building, building, building. And then all of a sudden you look and there's the sidewalk and you're looking into the stadium while you're driving by the stadium. It's a really cool and unique experience. What do you think about the opportunity to potentially be playing in that ballpark?
Yeah, I mean, St. Louis is a city built around sports. Obviously with that right in the center, they love their baseball there, and it's really really cool how everything's set up there, and Busch Stadium is unbelievable. So I'm really really excited to get to work and hopefully get there as fast as possible.
What do you like about the way that you come up in the majors to have to earn your keep, whether you're 185 or pick number one, that you have to work through single A, double A, triple A. You have to go through these levels. So it's really awesome in the sense of everybody's on an even playing field. No matter what number you were picked at, if you're a prospect and you're on a team, you're working through. And what you do, basically, you are the keeper of your future. Granted, people have to get injured and at certain times and things need to happen and rosters have to allow for that position being needed. But after you're drafted, like I said, be it the number one pick or number 185, you are in a position where you're going to control your destiny and you're going to work up the ranks. And you could be a better prospect drafted in the 6th round than someone drafted in the 3rd round, depending on your work ethic and what you're willing to do. So, what does that mean to you that now that you've been drafted, you're now in an even playing field where you get to showcase yourself, not as the number 185th pick, but as Jason Savacool?
Yeah, I mean it's a really cool environment. Obviously pro ball, it's all about winning at the top level. So whatever they got to do, it doesn't matter if they paid you $5 million or they paid you, whatever else to sign with them. They're gonna put time into you and develop you, and you're gonna have to put time into yourself and develop yourself as well. So it's ball's kind of in my court now, and I can just do the best I can with it and see what happens.
Yeah, and there's something to be said about that when you look at the farm system for the St. Louis Cardinals. We have the Palm Beach Cardinals in A. We have the Peoria Chiefs in the A Advanced, Springfield Cardinals in Double A, and the Memphis Redbirds in Triple A. So this will take you to different parts of the country if you stay within this franchise. Just what you're looking forward to with that and getting ready to go to work immediately, because like you told me, we're talking and then you're heading out.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be awesome to get to work and get going. I've thrown a lot of innings over the course of my Maryland career, so we'll see how much they have me playing this year. But definitely next year, gonna be playing a lot, pitching a lot, and working my way up the ranks the best I can. So it's gonna be an awesome experience to kind of go through those levels. Minor league baseball is definitely a grind, a lot of bus trips and things like that. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. Minor league baseball is kind of where people get separated to the people who love baseball and maybe the people who are just kind of good at baseball. And for me, I'm a guy who loves and bleeds baseball, so it's gonna be no problem for me to continue to grind through it.
Yeah, that coming here from Jason Savacool in our Central New York Spotlight, getting drafted to the majors for the St. Louis Cardinals here out of Baldwinsville, New York, and a Baldwinsville Bee and Maryland Terp alum. Jason, before we get into rapid fire, where we get to know you in a really cool way, I want to go to some of these things off the field and some that are kind of on the field, but connected in a familial way with your family. Now, your brother Josh and sister Victoria, your brother Josh played baseball over at Ithaca College for the Bombers. and your dad played at Wake Forest and Fairleigh Dickinson. What's it like to have that within the family and that connection? And I would assume that beyond watching baseball and sitting on that couch, so many times watching the game itself, that it has to be pretty cool that your dad and your brother have experienced this as well.
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely a baseball family. All of our dreams growing up were to be professional baseball players, and to be able to live that out, myself as a reflection on them as well, for how much work they've put into me. I know every single day that I would be out in the backyard. We used to have a batting cage in our backyard, and I'd be out there throwing or hitting or doing whatever with my brother, working to get better. Literally every single day. My dad was always our coach, always, coaching us up and getting us better, pushing us to continue to be better. So, just being a part of a baseball family and being able to kind of realize that dream with them, was an amazing experience. And it definitely made me emotional. When I was able to kind of give them a hug after I got drafted, just knowing how much work and time that they've put into it as well.
And so that family affair, that connection that you had, to be able to hug and just be there with your, like you said, with all those people in the house, but your dad, Christopher, your mom, Deborah, also my mom's name, which is pretty cool. And of course your brother Josh and your sister Victoria, for you to celebrate that as a family, what do you remember, something that they said or a moment? Was it a big group hug where you said something? I mean, what was there something that you took out of that moment when you got to say, like, I got drafted, and like you said, very emotional? Was there something that either you said or they said that sticks out with you today?
Yeah, I mean, I might get emotional talking about this, to be honest, but first person that came up and grabbed me and hugged me was my brother. And he just kept saying over and over, that you did it, you did it. Just just all the time that I spent with my brother, whether that be, working together to get better, or even just talking to him about the intricacies of handling things with teammates, how to handle things on the field, just because he was able to do it all first before me, and went through some of the experiences that I went through in high school, and he played college ball as well. So just having that older brother figure that I could always look up to and know, like, this is how hard I have to work if I really want it. Him kind of showing me the way, and then him telling me that I did it and we did it. It was just awesome, and it was really emotional, and kind of really stuck out to me. And then, after that, went around to my different family members and gave hugs and whatnot. And then at the end, kind of just had a huge family hug, because, just as much as I've put into it, they've put so much more into it. In my opinion, I mean, my mom and dad taking me to every which tournament, everywhere, all over the country, working hard. My mom, my dad, they both work multiple jobs to earn the money to be able to play. Travel ball is not cheap. To put my brother through it and to put me through it, to let me just have these amazing experiences. They've worked so hard to do that. And on top of that, all of the weekends that I spent going to my brother's tournaments, or my brother going to my tournaments, my sister going to both of our tournaments, getting dragged along, in just every which way, wherever we had to go. They've put so much into it and sacrificed so much time and so much of themselves to help me realize my dream. And it was just a really awesome moment to get to hug them all and kind of just enjoy it together.
Yeah, no, I'm happy that family means so much to you. It's good to hear. I mean, it's what we need to hear in today's world, not somebody saying, "Oh yeah, I did it all by myself." You know what I mean? It's to have that family and to have that connection in the Savacool family, and right there in Baldwinsville. Before we get into rapid fire, final point: your hero, Mike Musina, your number 45, inspired by Garrett Cole. So I mean, it's safe to obviously assume that you are a Yankee fan. So
Yeah.
how do you balance those two now? Because you're a Cardinal,
Yeah.
but you're also a fan of the Yankees.
Yeah, no, for sure. Thankfully it's ALNL,
Yeah,
so it's a little
true.
easier to separate the two. Um, but yeah, I mean, for me, everything that to this point has kind of been Yankee, and I think a lot of things to the next point will be Cardinal. Obviously I still watch Yankee games just as much as I do, but Cardinal games will start to creep in there for sure as well, a lot. So it'll be a little bit different, kind of supporting two teams and looking after two teams. But I'm really looking forward to obviously the Cardinals are an incredible organization, so it's gonna be really cool.
And you're called the Doctor. Why?
Um, I don't know who actually created it. One of my coaches created it, but just they said the way that I kind of work through lineups and work through hitters is just kind of surgical. The way that I kind of think and meticulously plan to get through guys. They just said it's really, really surgical. So they started calling me the doctor. Also, I have a little bit of my pitching motion has a resemblance to Roy Halladay, who was, also called the doc. So I think a little bit of that mixture kind of led to that nickname.
Not a bad person to be compared to.
No, absolutely not.
So we're going to play rapid fire in our final point here with Jason Savacool on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, the Central New York Spotlight, as Jason goes from the Baldwinsville Bees to the Maryland Terrapins. Amidst all of this, Team USA, and has now been drafted into the Major League Baseball world as a St. Louis Cardinal in the 2023 MLB Draft. We're going to go back and forth, three apiece, could be about anything. There is no prior conversation between Jason and I about what we're going to ask. It could be baseball or it could be literally anything. You get to start it off and ask me a question. What do you got?
All right. Where'd you grow up?
Syracuse, New York. So I
Oh,
grew up on the north side, Syracuse, New York, and went to school in Scranton and then came back here for a couple months, moved back to Scranton, then came back here for a couple months, then moved to Orlando, Kissimmee, and then came back to New York. So I've been back to New York a bunch of times and I built my company here. So I love
yeah.
New York and at the same time Florida is a second home and I get the balance of being able to come home and see the world. And I hope that all your dreams come true so you get to tell me the same thing.
Very cool. Very cool.
All right, my first question for you, Jason. If you could take anybody that you know and love to a ballpark that's never been, who would you surprise take to a ballpark and what ballpark would you go to?
I would take my brother
Okay.
and I would take him to say the San Diego Padres Stadium. That's an interesting one.
Okay.
I'll go with that.
Why'd you pick that one?
I don't know. I just think it has an interesting history, obviously, with the old metal supply company building in left field, and where it's kind of built. And that fan base is pretty cool too. So I think I'd take him there. I've never been there either. So I think it would be a pretty cool experience for the both of us.
Yeah, I heard that their weather is what you would consider utopia. It's like
Yeah.
75, sunny every day. So I've been asked to go out to San Diego for many years now, so I should do that. I think we both and your brother should go out to San Diego. And they got a couple good hitters out there. They got a few guys that they're paying a lot of money to. So
Yeah.
what's your second question for me?
Um, who's your favorite baseball player, all time and current?
Oh boy.
They can be the
Okay.
same person if it's a current player.
Okay. So I would say my favorite player of all time. Well, I'm a Diamondback. So my favorite player of all time, is he in here? He's in here somewhere. In the studio. So yeah, he's in here. Oh, he's not in this. Where did I put him? Oh, right here. I would say my favorite player of all time, and these cards. Shout out to GG Cards and Breaks. in Syracuse at 639 Delmar Place, where I got all these. This is my favorite player of all time,
Randy Johnson.
Randy Johnson, the big unit.
Yep.
So because he won me a championship and he's awesome. So yeah, but even before that, I love Randy Johnson. So I would say Randy Johnson all time, and I love those Diamondback logos of old too. And I would say right now, I feel like Otani is like so many people's, and I feel like I could be leaning, but I'm gonna say right now in this moment, my favorite player right now would have to be, man, this is tough. Oh boy. I would probably say, I mean, I guess I want to say Otani, but I also want to pick somebody different because so many people are focusing on Otani. So probably Otani and Judge. I probably
Yeah. Yeah.
my family's got a lot of Yankee fans within it, so I'd probably say Judge. If DeGrom was still a Met and he was healthy, please God, may he be healthy again and stay healthy. I'd love to watch Jacob DeGrom as a Met.
Yeah.
I'm kind of sad that he's not a Met anymore, but yeah, that's what I would say. Okay,
Gotcha.
so is your favorite? This is not the question. Is your favorite player Garrett Cole?
Currently, yes.
Okay, so who's your all-time?
Mike Mussina, Roy Halladay, kind of in between those two, but definitely those two.
So let me ask this as a 2B. What pitcher are you not a fan of? Like, who's the pitcher that you would never buy a baseball card of, never put on your wall in your room?
Um, See, I know who I want to say,
Okay.
but at the same time, he unfortunately passed.
Okay.
So I feel like it's a little bit of slander, but Yordano Ventura, um, big, lefty or sorry, righty for Kansas City, threw really hard, was really, really flashy guy. I'd say currently playing Amir Garrett,
Okay.
lefty reliever. He punched somebody like last year or something like that, just out of nowhere. He ran into their dugout, started beating people up. I don't know. It's interesting, I'd say, but I don't like the way he kind of goes about things.
No, I can agree with that. I could definitely understand that. I have some on my list too. What's your last question for me?
Um, all right. Say you have a kid.
Okay.
He is 6'5", 230 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
He's just a physical specimen, could play any sport. What two sports are you putting him in?
6'5". Okay. 2+. I'm gonna put him in. Well, if I want longevity, I'll put him in golf. but,
Yeah.
but the first two that came to my mind are baseball and basketball.
I like that.
I love football,
Mhm.
but I don't love what it could potentially do to people.
Yeah.
So I would put him, I'd love for him to be a pitcher. And then I'd love for him to be a guard. See, growing up for basketball, I played basketball and baseball.
Mhm.
And my dad made me play baseball. I love basketball. I got hit by a wild pitch in Little League right above my kidney. And I was like, yeah, I don't want to play baseball anymore. But I've always been fascinated by pitching. And I wanted to pitch when I was a kid. And my coach was letting like a bunch of us get into it and whatever. And he didn't let me do it. So, I remember like pitching with my dad and just kind of messing around in the backyard. And my hitting got better. My pitching got better. So I feel like if I kept with it, I probably would have been better than I was. I don't know what I would have been,
Mhm.
but basketball wise, yeah, I'd probably put him in basketball and baseball. I'd have
Gotcha.
to say that. That would be cool. So
Yeah,
yeah, I'd do that because there could be longevity in those.
for sure.
All right. My last question for you, Jason. You have 3 Hall of Famers that you can go back in time and pitch to. Who do you pitch to and why?
I'm gonna go Pete Rose,
Okay.
Tony Gwynn, and then prime Albert Pujols.
Okay. Why'd you pick those guys?
Okay, so Pete Rose and Tony Gwynn are just hit machines. Always hit machines. They didn't really strike out that much. They got after it on the baseball field. I just wanted to see how I could do against guys like that who are, kind of a little bit more slappy contact guys who hit a lot of doubles and things like that. I think it'd be cool to kind of go back in those eras and play and pitch against those guys. And then Albert Pujols is just a huge power guy. Obviously awesome Cardinal as well. But I just think it'd be really, really cool to go up there, throw some sliders against him, see if he can knock one off the batter's eye off of me. So
I like it. I like it. I can appreciate it and respect it. That coming from Jason Savacool here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life. Central New York and Upstate New York Spotlight here as he gets set to go from the Baldwinsville Bees and the Maryland Terps to Major League Baseball as a St. Louis Cardinal drafted this year in 2023. Jason, it's the first conversation we've had, but my line is open and I look forward to chronicling everything from here. I look forward to speaking with you and connecting with you. And obviously, we do a lot of work with the Baldwinsville Bees monthly at Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville. So looking forward for what's coming up in the future of BVille, and definitely looking forward to continuing to tell your story and building up on our friendship. But this is a great start, man. You're definitely a pleasure to have on the show.
cool. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.